Howdy folks, Jambareeqi here. When Pixar made Toy Story 2, a lot of people said that it was even better than the first Toy Story film. So there was a load of pressure on Pixar when they made Toy Story 3, especially for director Leon Critch. Toy Story 3 is a comedy-adventure movie about a group of sentient toys that belong to someone called Andy, who is now 17 years old and possibly too old to play with toys anymore. Andy must decide what he wants to do with his toys now that he's going to college. He chooses to bring Woody the cowboy to college with him and put the rest of his toys in the attic. Unfortunately, Andy's mum mistakes the attic bag for trash and the toys are thrown out on the curb. After the toys escape the bag, they feel as if that they've lost faith in Andy's love for them. They decide to jump into a donation box heading to Sunnyside Daycare. Woody joins them, but only so that he can convince them to go home. Sunnyside turns out to be a haven for forgotten and disposed toys. Woody decides to leave though, as he believes that the toys should be faithful to Andy's wishes. As Woody tries to escape Sunnyside, he ends up being found by a little girl called Bonnie, who takes him home. Meanwhile, the rest of Andy's toys soon discover that there's a dark secret behind Sunnyside. It's all under control by an evil teddy bear called Lotso, who forces Andy's toys to stay in a room for very young, violent, messy kids. When Woody finds out the truth about Sunnyside, he becomes determined to help his friends escape. At the centre of this film is a story about many themes, including community, family, change, fate, and growing up. The film addresses these concepts brilliantly, as it forces the characters to face the overwhelming stage of confronting their own mortalities. Which is not only a toy problem, it's also something we all have to accept, as daunting as it is. However, the toys must stick together as a family through this big change, and Woody in particular must learn the value of camaraderie. Andy's move to college excellently juxtaposes alongside the toys step into retirement, tapping into some deep existential philosophy. I love how Pixar once again treats its young audience with dignity, knowing that many children can handle smart and thought-provoking material, or at least dip their toes in the deep end of the storytelling pool. There's no pandering, it's all laid out for children to personally think about and understand, through an emotional, entertaining narrative. Once Woody discovers the secret behind Sunnyside, he has to help Andy's toys escape. This leads to an awesome, inventive, and exciting sequence. With the help of a veteran toy's knowledge of Sunnyside, Woody works out a detailed escape plan for his friends. For this escape sequence, Pixar created their obstacles and geniusly came up with a reasonably plausible way for the gang to get out of Sunnyside. Sure, the plan isn't perfect, it's a little convoluted, and there are some hiccups when it's put into practice. But I think it's these bumps that add tension and excitement to the escape. If it all went flawlessly, then it could have been boring. Now, usually I like to keep most of my reviews spoiler-free, but I can imagine some people want to hear my thoughts on the film's finale and ending, two of the most iconic scenes in the film. So I'm going to give you guys a choice. You can either skip ahead to this time code and avoid any spoilers, or you can keep watching. Take your time, I'm just going to play around with my spinny chair while you decide. The climax after the escape, known as the incinerator scene, is very emotional. I'll admit that it's a bit over the top, but the melodrama feels warranted, because it's a scene that ties in with the film's themes of sticking together and facing mortality. Plus, the toys have been put in a position without any options left, and I think this justifies the framing of the situation. So, this scene really works for me and I cry every time when I see it. We're watching our beloved characters face a possible end. It's heart-wrenching. When they're saved by the claw, there's a great sense of relief, and we've seen the toys bond in a special moment, proving how far they'll go to stick together and showing that they now accept the inevitability of death. The ending, which involves Andy handing over his toys to Bonnie, has had mixed reactions. Some say it's sappy and corny, others find it moving. Personally, I really like it. It gives a heartfelt closure for both Andy and his toys. Andy gets to play with the gang one last time as he feels more free to act like a kid again in Bonnie's company. Plus, he gets to see that Bonnie will appreciate them. Some may argue that Andy is too young to get this sentimental about his toys, but I disagree and I'll explain why in the next segment. I'm going to give 5 points to the content. Woody is his usual neurotic self as he puts his commitment towards Andy's wishes before his friends. At first, he believes that the gang is being selfish for staying, but when he realises what Sunnyside is really like, he learns that there are consequences to abandoning his friends. Buzz the Space Ranger goes through 3 personalities in this film, and all 3 are brilliant. There's normal Buzz, a level-headed and sensible toy who plays the vital role of keeping his head above the drama and making everyone stay calm. Then when Lotso switches Buzz to demo mode, he becomes as deluded as he was in the first film. Deluded Buzz thinks that he's a real Space Ranger, takes himself too seriously, and talks like an old-fashioned superhero. He's incredibly funny. Then, when Andy's toys attempt to switch him back, they accidentally turn him into Spanish Buzz, one of the highlights of the film. Spanish Buzz is hilarious. From his over-the-top Latin charisma to his flamenco-inspired animation, everything he does is priceless.
Bitácora espacial. Me he despertado del hipersueño en un planeta extraño.
Now what did you do?
I just did what you told me.
Estoy rodeado por criaturas extrañas y desconozco sus intenciones. ¿Quién anda ahí? ¿Amigo o enemigo?
Amigos. We're all amigos.
Me debo de haber estrellado y se me ha borrado la memoria. ¿Han visto mi nave espacial?
We gotta switch him back.
Lotso uses his soft, cuddly exterior to win over the trust of unsuspecting toys. He's manipulative, sociopathic, and often very cruel. Not to mention his minions are pretty damn threatening and thuggish for toys. After his owner replaced him, he became corrupt and lost his moral compass. I think that Lotso is a great way of illustrating what Woody or Jessie could have become if they went down a dark path. I mean, Woody is a leader and was once replaced, plus Jessie was abandoned by her owner. These characters could have become like Lotso. Andy's toys are like an office community, and when Woody decides to close shop, they just want to live in peace and happiness, which is understandable. However, these characters can be innocently naive and pay the price when they put too much trust in Lotso. Just because someone looks safe and friendly doesn't mean they're nice on the inside. Andy's toys aren't just treated like prisoners, they also become very vulnerable when both Woody, their leader, and Buzz, their second in command, abandon them, adding to the tension and stakes of the film even more. Barbie and Ken are a riot in this movie. They immediately convince themselves that they're in love as soon as they meet, resulting in a hilariously cheesy relationship that's adorably naive. At the same time, there's some interesting tension between them once Barbie finds out that Ken is one of Lotso's minions. It's a fantastic pairing that's bound to make you laugh hard. Andy is a very relatable character for teenage audiences, especially for those who were kids when they watched the first 2 films. He's going through big changes and has to ask himself the question, what should I do with my toys now that I'm growing up? The toys that represent his childhood. Now, people have argued that Andy is too young to be this nostalgic. However, I disagree. Everyone is different. We all grow up differently. We all respond to change differently. And we all have different relationships with our toys. For Andy, he's addressing his feelings about his toys at a point where he's stepping into adulthood, so it makes sense considering what they represent. I also think that parents will resonate with Andy's mum, who has to watch her little boy grow up and leave. My mum actually got teary-eyed when she saw Andy's mum looking at her son's empty bedroom. Bonnie is an adorable little girl. She's wildly imaginative and treats toys with affectionate love. At the same time, her playtime is uniquely different to Andy's because she inserts herself into the stories, making her games very personal and fun. The more time we spend with her, the more we feel comfortable about her possibly taking over as Andy's toy's new owner. While Andy's toys are like an office community, Bonnie's toys are more like a theatre troupe. Each of her toys act like a movie star, comedian, or classically trained thespian. This is a great way of defining them and making them uniquely Bonnie's. I'm going to give 5 points to the characters. There's so much fantastic work in Toy Story 3's animation. It's like a glorious showreel for the studio's talented versatility. There's the realistic mannerisms of Bonnie, whose quirks truly reflect what children act like. There's also the energetic animation for Spanish Buzz, which was inspired by ballroom dance, flamenco, and bullfighters. Plus, I love the super funny restrained doll animation for Ken and Barbie. Although, the best thing about this film's character animation has to be its level of emotion and soul, in terms of comedy and drama. Every character has bold, vivid eyes, strikingly expressive eyebrows, and incredibly emotive body gestures. The organic life in these characters is impeccable. Every action and expression is expertly timed with immaculate detail. It's fantastic, and a shining example of Pixar at their best. I'm going to give 5 points to the animation. Tom Hanks once again voices Woody. He gives Woody a suitably neurotic voice with a hint of tenderness. You know, that usual Tom Hanks sparkle, that kind of magic he uses to ruffle kids' hair with. Yeah, that.
You're alive! What's I'm alive? My hat! Wait, where's Buzz?
Lotso did something to him.
He thinks he's a real space ranger again.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. Return of the astronaut.
Oh, Woody, we were wrong to leave Andy. I was wrong.
Jessie's right, Woody. She was wrong.
No, it's my fault for leaving you guys. From now on, we stick together.
Tim Allen voices Buzz. Much like in Toy Story 2, Allen proves that he's very good at bouncing between the two personalities of Buzz. He can be serious and level-headed, but he can also switch over to the deluded Buzz like that. It's fantastic.
Yes, Sarge was right.
Yeah, and Woody was wrong.
Wait a minute, hold on. This is no time to be hysterical.
It's the perfect time to be hysterical.
Should we be hysterical?
No!
Yes!
Maybe, but not right now.
Will you nuts?
Prisoners disabled, Commander Lotso.
Buzz, what are you doing?
Silence, minions of Zurg. You're in the custody of the Galactic Alliance.
Zurg? Galactic Alliance?
Oh, boy.
Ned Beatty voices Lotso. He gives him a soothing, warm New Orleans accent to make him seem trustworthy. But when the secret is out, Beatty excels at capturing Lotso's dark side.
We asked the newer toys, the stronger ones, to take on the hardships the rest of us can't bear anymore.
Well, I guess that makes sense. But I can't accept. We're a family. We stay together.
Family man, huh? I understand. Put him back in the timeout chair.
Unhand me!
Bring in the bookworm.
Michael Keaton voices Ken and Jodie Benson voices Barbie. Both are hilariously cheesy. They deliver their lines with a charming corniness. It's so good. I love it.
Will I see you again?
Oh, I'll see you tonight. In my dreams.
Ken, let's get a move on.
Barbie, come with me. Live in my dream house. I know it's crazy. I know we just met. Ah, heck, you don't know me from G.I. Joe, but when I look at you, I feel like we were made for each other.
John Morris reprises his role as Andy. He sounds authentically earnest, which is so important because he has some of the most emotional scenes in the film.
Can I have your computer?
No.
Your video games?
Forget it, Molly. Okay, Andy, let's get to work here. Anything you're not taking to college either goes in the attic or it's trash.
Mom, I'm not leaving till Friday.
Come on, it's garbage day.
Mom.
Look, it's simple. Skateboard, college. Little League trophy, probably attic. Apple core, trash.
Emily Hahn voices Bonnie. She sounds adorably sweet and entertainingly energetic. She's so good at capturing Bonnie's wild imagination.
Beep boop, beep boop. It has a secret ingredient. Jelly beans.
Somebody's poisoned a water hole!
Poison? Yeah. Who would do such a mean thing? Ah! The scary witch! Look out! She's using her witchy powers!
Now, there are a lot of toys in this film, so there are more voice actors in this movie, but I don't have time to analyse all of them. Let's just say that they're all bloody brilliant. I'm going to give 5 points to the voice acting. This is honestly one of the best Randy Newman scores I've ever heard. Not only does it keep the feel and tone of past Toy Story scores, it also pushes the franchise's music even further to new sounds. The drama, action and comedy are all backed up with creative, fitting, high-standard tracks. There's also a warmth and heart to the music. It sounds like it was composed with passionate integrity. This warranted sentiment adds a genuine underlying affection to the film. It's clear that Randy Newman loves making music for the Toy Story films. Not to mention, a lot of care has gone into the themes for specific characters. There's Cajun rhythms for Lotso, sexy Latin guitar for Spanish Buzz that really helps to sell one of the film's best jokes, and Ken gets relaxing lounge music to fit his chilled, happy personality. It's a magnificent music score written with love, dedication and thoughtfulness. In addition, the Spanish cover of Toy Story's theme, You've Got a Friend in Me, is a joyfully happy song to end the film with. It always makes me smile. I'm going to give 5 points to the music. To conclude, I think that Toy Story 3 is a solid, entertaining sequel, enriched with deep existential philosophy and a sincere message about sticking together. It's an outstanding entry in the Toy Story series. Toy Story 3 has gained a total of 25 points, which translates to 5 playful strawberries out of 5. If you enjoyed the first 2 Toy Story films, then you're going to love Toy Story 3. Now, some of you are probably wondering about my thoughts on Toy Story 4, which is set for a 2018 release. While I was satisfied with the ending for Toy Story 3, I thought it was a great closure. I am still optimistic about Toy Story 4. Yeah. I'm not going to be a pessimist and immediately dismiss it before it's even been made. I think every movie has the potential to tell a great story, and Pixar have already proved themselves with Toy Story 2 and 3. So yeah, I've got my hopes up. In the next episode of Jambareeqi Reviews, I'm going to review Laputa, Castle in the Sky. Cheerio, folks.